cash, help, seek help, surround yourself with people that'll help you, that'll listen to you, they got your best interest. Don't get nervous. If you have a big goal, just chip away at it until you get to where you need to be. When you're a thinker, I'm the same way. You look for answers that you know you can't, you're not gonna be able to get. You know what I'm saying? It kind of drives you crazy. Because you feel like you should have these answers, but you don't. So you just try to think your way into a solution, but you can't find the answer. So, I think that's what life is about. Truly finding yourself. And then closing your eyes and dying in your sleep. Finding yourself and finding other things. But finding yourself is one of the things, though, for sure.
All right, guys, what's up? Let's get into this. I didn't really want to go on stream here, but I tweeted at you guys 10 likes real quick for me to hop on here real quick, and y'all did it. First 5 minutes came down to it, but we got it. All right, so let's get into it. Last night, well, first of all, we're seeing QQ down about $2 here after hours, SPY about $1.19. Q and Tech right now is a lot more weaker than SPY. SPY finally gave up that demand zone it's been holding all last week. Now it is now red. Now that we got under it, all puts working under that. That was our game plans, worked nicely. Two solid puts right at open on QQ. Knowing that we're opening up under this 576 Rio cap zone, and we should drop to our 574 that we're aiming for, and then bottom of the zone there, or bottom of the channel that we're in. From there, I was really curious to see if we end up breaking that channel, because if we did, we're slamming more puts and we're just dropping to right down to our next zone below, which zone to zone, we did exactly that. And now we're moving down to our next zone right now, which kind of target already hitting. It's 576.27. So we're already in this zone, which is my target. You can kind of see right there. We're already hitting that right now. So very easy for the setup tomorrow. And that's under 566.99. If QQ loses that, likely we're going to dip lower to 566 and then 562 area. Which, I mean, we're already kind of seeing that, and we're that much closer to a bigger gap kind of below. We're kind of just erasing some of these up, down moves that we were seeing, early in this month. So we're just playing the zones right back down. Pretty easy for us tomorrow. So I'll be watching that. Q is weaker. Like I said, Tech is a lot weaker, with AMD just completely falling off a cliff here in the last 4 or 5 days, with today being a more heavier one, if we can call it that. We're seeing Palantir did have a gap on the 15. It's already ate that overnight here, and it also has, I think maybe on the daily, it already ate that as well. The daily ate that pretty big gap there. Palantir, it's already $4 down after hours. It dumped $16 plus. So pretty massive kind of move here. Big middle finger if you just look at it for Palantir. Pretty awesome. And we're seeing a big position, I would say, off of someone on Twitter. I commented on it today because I saw their position yesterday. Their day 2 of shorting Palantir, which I was like, ooh, let's kind of keep it that, because they're sized in, over 500,000, over 700, like 700K, 800K, and they're at like 1.3 now with the sell off. Pretty awesome stuff, I think. But yeah, Palantir, pretty big sell off there. Looking around, I was 2 setups I was looking to play at open, and that was Google and QQQ right at open. I saw Google was flagging here, had a small gap above, which I was expecting them to try and take that out and then dump it, and they did exactly that. They pushed up, tried taking most of that gap out, which they did, and then dumped it to our demand, which they perfectly ended up coming back down to that 200 level down there. Exactly what I was looking for, just kind of that flag break right there, come down. We came right back up to the top, and I caught that too, seeing this right here, and I knew puts could work. I missed the entry because I was too busy slamming QQ puts. In a perfect world, and this went faster than QQ, which is absolutely crazy, but in a perfect world, I would slam this as well. And got the move all the way down to 200. Awesome. But I saw this pop up right here, and that easily could have been your retest, slam the puts for the move all the way down. So don't feel like you always kind of miss an initial move. Sure, that first 15 minute was what I was looking for, that knife down, beautiful. But say you missed that, you would have got that second entry right here. Again, retesting the flag, saw that it started wicking there, easily slammed some puts there, and you would have got that ride even lower with this being a better move, from 202 area all the way down to 200. So 202.60 all the way down to 200. Still, that would have been a better move, and the puts would have been a little bit more. Probably better priced, I guess, as they get kind of pushed down up, and then there you go. So not too bad, not too bad, I would say. That was the play I was looking for at open. Went really fast. Too busy with QQ and slamming right at open on QQ. What I see on QQ, really the same thing. This is exactly kind of how I was looking for. We opened up under the zone there, which was grounds to the slam puts. I wanted to short every single pop today on the 15. That's what I was telling the team. We got the move all the way down to that bottom channel. From there, I was like, we end up losing that channel right there on that candle. We're going to roll down to some more puts, and we got zone to zone there. $4 move, exactly what I was looking for. If you want my live trades, I mean, we're slamming this right at open. I just did this live. So if you want access to my trade channel in Discord, sign up to become a member. Or if you just want live sessions, you can sign up for just that as well, kind of like an a la carte thing. But I do live sessions for just members, but it is a separate service if you want to really get locked in on this. But if not, and you're just happy with the trade alerts, that's okay too. This was pretty banger. Even if you missed the very first one, I got them for like 90 bucks, 100 bucks. You chased it, you still would have got over. They went over $600 a contract, so over 500% on the very first contracts. Second contracts, if you missed those, then I slammed those right around here on that green candle. We're looking for every pop. So after that short on right here, or after that pop kind of right there on that 15 green candle, I ended up slamming those second rounds, knowing we're coming down to this zone, and we did exactly that. Pretty nicely done too. And then after that, I ended up going some SPY lottos. Ended up turning to SPY because that's where I noticed that we did finally lose that huge zone from last week, which is the demand that we've been holding on to. About right here is when I ended up taking those puts. We knifed down under it. We opened up under it, pushed up for that retest, took a little bit, like 30 minutes, and then it started pulling down. My target was the 639 area, and we got that perfectly. Ended up coming down to 638. Levels working beautifully here. These aren't random levels, guys. These are levels that, just an experienced trader can not only spot, use, and then go for. Again, this is just trusting it. So you get access to my game plans and my levels as a member. You don't got to do the guesswork. Just put the levels on your chart. You're good to go. But notice how even up here, this was a false kind of breakout. You can see right there on that 15. It's very rare, and I mean very rare, that you'll see we'll print that push up there and then we'll print a red arrow down. Very, very tough. But notice how this is a part of my strategy, right? We held this demand, and at the time, SPY was bullish. I didn't take this, but I said, a part of the strategy, if on a normal day, on a normal bullish day, we would have took calls here, 642.84 at that moment open, and still got almost a $2 move up on that just candle right there. You would have made some money. But we knew not to take any type of upside because how tech was weak and how things were moving as a whole. We knew that. One of the tall tale signs was Microsoft was dumping off. It opened up at a weak point and then ended up pulling down. Market's not going to go higher without it. Meta, same thing, had a gap below, knifed into that gap. Again, just a staple. We did see Tesla end up falling wedge, kind of breaking out here. And so I called this out as it happening, but not to chase it because likely, the market was pulling back. I'm not about to go for upside on an individual name. And so I'm just not going to fight the trend like that. This was a kind of a failed breakout as it literally went all the way back down to both almost both targets, but the target down there to that demand and bottom of the fallen wedge right there. So it's looking like it's going to try and save it for possibly tomorrow, but I doubt it. Everything is pretty red here after hours. Anyone that is telling you that we're going to see green tomorrow, I probably wouldn't be listening to them as much because it's very possible that tops are already in, and we're going to see a lot of uncertainty, especially if FOMC doesn't go well at all. So I think seeing this before FOMC is not a good sign at all. But again, we are dipping into some decent supports here on SPY and Q. Very interested. Well, SPY needs a little bit more room to come down. I see it is flagging, but it needs a little bit more, and it will hit it. Which was at 638.47. So it's literally right here, trickling on its way down. Hopefully, we don't get more downside overnight and waits for us at open so we can slam that and keep it moving tomorrow. But we'll see. We'll stick to the zones and get what we can get. But yeah, so I think market is uncertain going into this. A lot of good bleeding going off. The Regal Cap trend bot caught the downside on Nvidia all day. It was slam puts at open on Nvidia and dumped. I mean, look at that. Probably one of its worst days it's had in a while, from 182 range all the way down to 175, 175. I mean, beautiful, just pull down there. So it's very interesting. I would say tomorrow, looking at Nvidia, and Nvidia's been needing to pull back after it's been failing to break out up there for a while. It does have this gap down here, and that's what I'm going to be watching for going into tomorrow, or kind of later into the week or whenever we get to it, which we're already pretty much at it. But I want to see this, start knifing into it. So I'll be ready for it. Maybe Lotto Friday, maybe Thursday, maybe tomorrow. I'm already stocking this. It's already at 174.26. So 174.26. So it is basically at that gap. The official gap starts around 174.16, so it's basically already there. Likely this might eat it after hours or overnight here. I really hope it doesn't, and save some of it, so we can take that out tomorrow, and that'll be a play I'll be looking for to play tomorrow. That's an easy move right there. Yeah, with AMD selling off, AMD does have a gap. No, it ate it. Has a gap all the way down here at 147, but we're ways away from that. Nothing too crazy. I saw TSM was pulling back pretty heavily today. Pretty good knife. This was something I was really liking too, right? I posted this downtrend breakout into a flag, but opened up outside of the flag, but on the downside. The one thing I love about these setups is usually they're bullish, but if whatever side of the flag it opens up, it's going to move. On a higher time frame, it opened up underneath and just completely dumped to that downside there. Even zone to zone, right? Tried holding on there, couldn't quite do it. Went to the next zone, but even just a move right there on that 1 hour. From 240 all the way to 236, $4 move. What else do you want? That's a major play right at open to get it right. Absolutely pretty cool. So that's something right there. And I always do like to see stuff like that kind of happen right at open. And why I absolutely like to kind of play stuff like that. But anyways, flag, good. I like it. Moving on. Let's see. Moving on. Other than that, I'm going to be keeping an eye on Microsoft as well. I think Microsoft just been seeing a lot of weakness from the earnings, which is crazy because it was a blowout earnings. But we're getting back to kind of its trend that it was already kind of moving along with. So all that earnings nonsense is kind of out the way. And now that it's back to that levels, let's kind of see what happens here. Let's kind of see. In other news, one other name that I'm watching too is Target. Target looks pretty good right here in between some zones. If it can get through the supply 106 area, should run to 107. Dips right now are working on it. Premiums are a little juiced, but it's going in earnings tomorrow morning. That's why. So we're gonna see kind of what happens here on that. Also, we charted TQQ yesterday on live here. So let's see how it went, right? Let's see how it went. And you can see how it went. It went pretty nice. Notice how we fell down to this kind of zone right here, this demand, which we already caught. We knew was a zone there. We're already pretty much hitting that pivot 88.21. So we're already inside of it right now. Notice how at open, we opened up in this zone, but we opened up at the top of it. Notice right there, failed breakout. We did not open up above it. So below ended up ripping through it like tissue paper. And we can kind of make that a little bit more simple if you want. But notice how the 15 knifed came down, retested. You can see that retest right there. That's where you would be slamming puts or slamming puts on that green candle, just knowing, you're going to get that move down to that official touch. There's always got to be official touch of the zone. That's not going to suffice right there. We got to hit that official touch, and it did. Notice that, and then it ended up doing the same thing, or then retested again. If you didn't learn from that lesson and you're chasing puts down here, you got to think through it from here, even though you'd be down on it. Think through it on a roll down of some puts. Come down all the way here. Notice how we did not hit the zone yet, right? We didn't hit the zone. It reversed there, then tried coming back down, didn't hit the zone. Hitting it after hours here, 88.21. We're now inside of it. So we always got to hit the zone, and that's just trading right there. That's just it's never perfect. It's never linear. You know, um, it's always them fighting it when you never want them to fight it, and then when you're not in puts, it's just like the smoothest buttery dump, just knife that you've ever seen. The second you get into it, it's like they want to fight it on the way. Like, Apple here, right? Just nasty nonstop sideways. So stock selection in these times are, very much important, right? That's why I do love trading SPY QQQ, because if I know Nvidia, Microsoft, and AMD are pulling back, I know I can capture that, all of them, with QQ. Say you get, you all those are right and your sentiment is right and everything is right, but you choose the wrong name, right? You end up shorting Google. You ended up shorting Google longer and ended up pushing up higher here, in midday all the way into close. And you don't know why, right? Because we see SPY QQ trickling lower into the day, and we just see, this kind of motion happening. You're just like, why? Like, why? So that's why I think it's easier to be with SPY QQ, because as long as you know the right direction, as long as you're with the right levels, just play the levels and you'll be all right. It moves fairly up front with the move. There's not much trickery going on, even though there is, but not much as compared to individual names. So my 2 cents on it. My 2 cents. Anyways, I just wanted to jump on here real quick and kind of give you all the setups on like a speed run real quick. We're on fire today. We went 3 for 3, three lotto puts. I didn't see the need in going 1 day or 2 day or longer. Lottos, we're going to capture it today, and max capture, max profit, max payday. So we slammed two QQs right open, of course, got that move. And then we ended up taking the spies for the ride. And then after that, sat back, do less. So tomorrow will be the same exact thing. Make our money, sit back for FOMC, and just see what happens. If we get a crazier move or not, I'll be ready to trade it. If not, then we'll sit back and just be ready for more news, which comes out, in the morning, pre-market Thursday. That will do it for more, I guess, movement. And what is that? That is unemployment claims. And then Powell, we'll be talking Friday. I would say we start risk off, Friday, Thursday, we'll see kind of how that shakes out. Well, first, let's get through Wednesday. Then we'll see kind of how that shakes out Thursday and how we'll be sizing. For right now, I would still say keep everything small. And if your losers lose, that's fine. They'll be small. And if the winners win like today, they win big. That's the whole key right now, staying alive. Staying alive. So hopefully you guys can heed that kind of advice right there. But anyways, also I tweeted out that transfer for the selling options challenge. So money's en route for right now, and I think it should be clear for me next Monday. And I think I'm actually just going to that Monday start and just kind of give y'all the rundown on the first week of how I would do it. It's going to be super simple. It's going to be like usually one, maybe two positions. The second position will come if the first one ends up working, by Wednesday or Thursday, and how that's going to be is, we're going to see, I'm going to pick a company that I either deem undervalued or overpriced, that we still is a good company that I still wouldn't mind, and that will match around our criteria of money. We're going to collect the premium of the option, so we're going to sell it to somebody. We're going to collect that money. So if you're watching this, usually you're used to buying the option and waiting for it to increase, and you're selling it. We are selling it to somebody now, so we're on the other side of getting that money. Someone's gonna buy it off us. We're gonna collect the premium, and we're gonna we're gonna hold it until expiration, which is Friday, right? So we're gonna hold it through the week. Now, if the options say like on a day like this where we chose QQQ and we sold an option up here, which we sold a call. We sold a call to somebody. So some poor sucker at open bought a call from us at high dollar because they thought the market was going to go up. But lo and behold, the market actually pulled down, over 1%, putting those calls that we sold to someone worthless, absolutely worthless. Or let's just say they're weeklies and we sold them for $300 up here. We collected $300 and now they're worth $20 down here. So we will have the option to either just let it expire worthless, or we will buy it back. So meaning we will spend $20 of the premium that we got, and buy it back to get us out of that position. And then at that point, we pocketed $280, and now we will roll to the next option where then we'll collect a couple $100 and then let that go to expiration on Friday. So that's the only time we will do two positions in a week. If not, it's going to be one, and we're going to let it expire worthless. That is the whole thing. And then on the other end of it expiring, say we get assigned it. Say we bought QQQ at 576 here, right? And we sold the 578, and then Q at the end of the week, and we collected $200. Say we collect $200. So now at the end of the week, QQ actually closes at 579 ish. Well, not only did we keep that 200, we'd get assigned those shares. So not only did we keep the 200 premium, the difference between our buy and our sell, which was the strike that, from the contract we sold, we also profited that extra money as well. So not only did we collect the premium, we are now we are now getting assigned to sell our shares at that strike price that we chose, which so happens to be 578. So we create that, or we book that, or we realize the gain, but the $2 gain between those. So usually that's a couple $100 if you're holding a couple hundred shares or whatever it is. If it's a dollar or two move like that, so then altogether make $400 or $500, whatever it is, depending on the premium price, all that. Regardless, two ways to make money on the stock, just like that, by not doing much. So that's what we're going to be doing. So if you want part of that, go ahead and let me know. I think I might be maybe doing the first week for free, and then after that, it's going to be accessed in the Discord channel. I will give updates on Twitter here. I will continue to give updates, of course, but the exact plays and kind of my thoughts behind what I'm going with and what I'm choosing is going to be in the Discord. So become a member, get access to that, and we should have fun with that. So anyways, all right, game plans are set. Everything is ready to go. SPY QQQ. Everything looks pretty bloody here after hours, and it looks like we're going to see a lot more selling too, with kind of how some of these names are dropping. But let's see what happens with FOMC. That's going to be the game, or that's going to be the variable. That's going to be the game changer. That's going to be what's going to be, moving us, and then of course unemployment claims, and then Powell is going to be saying some stuff Friday. So let's keep it easy. Let's keep things kind of small. Like I said, keep losers small and keep the winners. Let the winners run. Like on a day like today, if you had if at open you end up somehow slamming calls and it went small, and then you flipped and to some puts and you're on small and you let them run, you would have definitely be green on the day. Takes a certain kind of skill to do that. I would say just be right on the direction first, and then keep things small for right now and let things kind of run. So hopefully all that makes sense. Let's see. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. anyways, so good setups across the board, right? Good setups across the board. Nvidia gonna be one I'm watching immediately tomorrow for that gap fill. That is pretty much already kind of at. It's kind of getting away from it a little bit, so that's good. I want that tomorrow. A couple other names, TSM, right? AMD has been so weak, so attack weakness. Let's see if we can short pops. QQ and SPY. If all else fails, we will be just playing zone to zone on QQ and SPY. Easy work for us. Easy work. SPY's a lot stronger than Q, so I think I'll be looking for the upside if somehow that upside comes, you know. But right now, bulls are gonna have to. The tide has shifted. The tide has shifted right now. That means it's likely tops are in until end of September, you know, until we get into October. And the tide has shifted. So the Bulls are going to have to aggressively prove it to me right now. Like to buy the dip right now and let things melt up, conversation is done now. Like you gotta have to understand, you know, as a trader, you have to adapt, and a lot of these things come and go. As far as these strategies, they come and go, and you got to be able to recognize it, or be close to people like me that can recognize it and roll on it. I can tell you right now that strategy's out the window. I'm not buying dips right now. I'm not. Buyers would need to shove it down my throat for me to be all right to make me want to roll with them and, you know, play that upside. But right now, short and pops is working. We're looking at that as our strategy and just playing the zones. Of course, no bias though. We'll see. No bias. We'll be trusting the Regal Cap trend bot. You know, that's our secret weapon right now. If we're not seeing it right, you know, the bot will. The bot will. Which was pretty cool. I mean, it was stabbing puts today on Nvidia, and it stabbed calls yesterday on Nvidia right at open, which I was shocked about that. Right at open, it slammed calls and it rode it up all the way up to 183 area, 182.90. I was shocked about that. I didn't play it, but you know, it gives me an accuracy report after, and it was pretty much just kind of gloating in my face, like, hey, I did it. It was accurate. Boom, 1 for 1 today, baby. And so I was like, okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. And then today it was knifing on Nvidia. So I'm still making some tweaks on it and making it better. So it's always I'm always working on it, making to improve it, and it's awesome. But sticking to the zones, game plans are set for members. Everything's all set in Discord, ready to go. Let's see what FOMC brings us tomorrow, guys. I'm ready to go. Let's not do anything crazy. We had some monster wins today, and we're gonna keep it rolling just like that. Keep it rolling. We're gonna keep it small and let the winners win. Run heavy. So name of the game is survive these next 6 weeks as seasonality starts creeping in and things start cooling off and stuff starts getting a little weird. You know, price action doesn't move the way it should, right? You know, we should hold this, it ends up falling through. You know, demand should hold, it doesn't go. Supplies, short supplies doesn't work, ends up ripping through. You know, so failed breakouts, failed breakdowns. So like we're gonna see some of these traps in these next 4 to 6 weeks. So be prepared. Have the right people in your corner to get you through the fire, and let's get out on the other side of it, because when October, November, and December come, it is going to be gravy train. I need you guys prepared, ready to go with capital to deploy and win, because it's going to be slam, sit back, trend day. Like those months are going to be very easy, I promise you. So stay alive, stay alive, stay alive. Let's do this. All right. Appreciate y'all showing up, 170 plus of y'all. I'm Rico Capital. Let me know if y'all need anything. DM me if y'all have any questions. I love answering y'all's questions in the DMs. If you need my trades, wild.com/Rico Capital. We went 3 for 3 today. Slam puts right open on QQ. Rode a SPY lotto put down. It was nice. It was good. So we caught it all, and we're sitting back and we're trusting the zones, recap zones, and know where the buyers are at and know where the sellers are at. So anyways, all right, have a good rest of y'all's night. Get some rest, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.